Hi, welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophia, pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue unpacking Xi's quotes in December. Today, we are going to quote his 绝不能走西方宪政. He's talking 2018 pre-COVID era. Already, he pointed out that we want to, in the previous episode, he talked about return to the original intent, come back to the mission, which is communism, not capitalism, even if China was the biggest benefactor from free market global trade. So he was emphasizing that politically, China cannot, absolutely no can. Okay, I guess whoever is imitating Chinese English use no can because Chinese do put this negation before can. So English cannot, Chinese absolutely say it in no can, negate can. Okay, 绝不能, 绝 means absolutely, cannot, no can, 走西方宪政, 走, walk the way, like walk down which path, the Western direction. So 西方 Western direction is Chinese way to mean the West. So I guess the West means the English-speaking few countries, or the Europeans altogether. That's in the capitalism camp. So that's the 西方. Yeah, they happen to be on the west side of the globe, right? I mean, they are regarded politically as the West, probably not geographically everything on the West, but yeah, I mean, now thinking about America and Europe, they are probably on the opposite side of China, so on the other side of the globe. So that was the whole collectively region and their political system is regarded as 西方. I think it's the same lingo as in English as well, right? English would self-refer themselves as the West versus the East. So there are two camps if we view by this direction. 宪政, yeah, originally quote have this quotation mark. So I guess there are some implications in there. Like 宪政 was viewed by Xi as this constitutional governance, as something claimed to be constitutional governance. So he was quoting that as if he doesn't believe, he doesn't subscribe to that, right? So has to put a quotation mark up there. So in this page, I'm going to look at the 宪, because how Chinese, who experienced the thousands of years of this imperial, is it called imperial? I don't even know, feudalism, or this agrarian society supported central governing ever since the Qin Shi Huang, like over 2,000 years ago, established this central governing way of this piece of land and people from one emperor, and then have this local branches, this whole taxation and the whole military maneuver, this centralization method of governing. Then from that piece of land, how the concept constitution even got translated, right? I'm curious. So 宪 packed into four components. Can you tell there are four things on this frame? So this big arch with a chimney thing, that means domestic private space. And then this little bit diagonal 3-line with one vertical line, that means dissonance, means different voices, different, so there are conflict inside. So something harmful, especially like harmful to the harmony. And then the eyeball symbol, the oval shape with two diagonal lines, that's like a abstraction of the eyeball. And then the heart symbol at the bottom, which is a chamber with 3 tubes coming out of it. Input tube, output tube, and the tube to supply the heart itself. That's the anatomy of heart, anatomy of the eyeball, like direct visual representation, and then this domestic dissonance. So how that 4 things put together to actually means constitution. My understanding is constitution means a group of, it has to have a borderline within this domestic domain. In this case, it's not necessarily means domestic, it means private sphere. It means within this country, this governing body, that's considered domestic. So under one space with a chimney, man-made space, then how people are going to observe or view and feel this heart, view it, both rational and emotional side of us, to look at this harm, this dissonance thing, this different voices, this harmony. And that is constitutional. Do you feel Chinese culture, Chinese language capture this 宪? Because in ancient Chinese, this 宪 also eventually means law. So apparently even in the ancient governing philosophy, there is this law, this rules, like spell out rules for all to follow. So this rule mostly is used to address this disharmony in society. So A and B go to court. How are you going to judge it? How are you going to view it and feel it? That's constitutional. 宪, okay. And then he said 绝不能, right? And this is continuation of 三权鼎立. That's the definition of what a constitutional specification is. It's a 3-power tripod stand. That's the check and balance Chinese expression. 3, right? Power. Each of them are standing on their own feet. They form this tripod structure. So that's Chinese way to capture the check and balance structure in America. 三权鼎立. Okay, 司法独立. Okay, 司法 actually means law and order, or the judicial system. But specifically, 司 means execution. Okay, we also have 司机. Also, 司机 means machine. In that context, 司机 actually means driver. It means the executor of driving this driving machine. So 司 actually means somebody who is at the wheel to control the direction of where you're going. So 司 in this case means executing, like holding the wheel, guiding, right, directing. And then 法 means law. 独立 means independent. So 司法独立 means, hey, they have their own system, their own execution of the law. They're independent from CCP. 独立, the unsaid part is they are independent from CCP's influence or CCP's direction. The 路子, okay, the 路 means the pathway. So the whole sentence is warning of the party that we cannot go the Western way, which is constitutional governance and the tripod structure, and have the law running independently of CCP's decision or interpretation. Like CCP have to go above the law structure. Okay, here what I want to talk about 权. 权 came with this wooden structure, and then the bird structure, a particular kind of water bird with little mouses, and this is a long beak of that bird, trying to capture the water worms or whatever, the food for the water bird. So water bird plus wooden structure eventually becomes power. So that's a little bit of mystery of why. It could be this power was like symbolized by this wooden staff or something. Okay, I'm not going to make my theory there, but this is an interesting Chinese capturing of power, because power as a political concept was quite abstract, right? So how Chinese in its everyday day-to-day life capture what power can be represented of. It turned out to be wooden and water bird. Okay, that's a surprise. So here, the key concept is 三权鼎立. Actually, Chinese, another way is 三权分立. 分 means split. So they split the power into 3 parts, and they form this check and balance structure to have a stable political system. That's the Western way, and that's the Xi's he doesn't want the country to go down this path. And he called 三权分立, this check and balance, as a 三权鼎立. 鼎 came from the tripod shape of Chinese cast bronze container that was forged probably 3,000 or 4,000 years ago. It's a lost technology. And if you go to any Western museum, you may see such ancient cast iron or cast bronze structure with messages, carvings, intricate exterior, but forms in all kinds of shape of standing containers, vessels. So, I mean, that was ancient heirloom piece, I guess, passed from generations, sometimes even between powers, right? Generations of powers. And this Ding was this tripod structure container. And he used 三权鼎立 to emphasize it's a 3 separate, mutually separate, independent, and therefore they can check and balance each other political structure. That's in the West. All right, that's 三权鼎立. Cash into the currency of thinking about one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.